Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Entitled Parents. Story 1. I think my mom is jealous. This has been going on for a while. I'm not 100% sure if she is jealous or if this is normal. My mom would constantly make. Story 2. My mom is a perfectionist. My mom is a perfectionist and takes every mistake I make, even small ones, personally. Like today for instance. I had gone to a park and wore an orange shirt, thinking it was going to be fine. It turns out that, when I got to the park, my mom noticed it was not fine and demanded I change shirts because it would attract bugs. She has done this sort of thing for every mistake I make. I either get belittled, made fun of, told I'm not good enough, or that I'm selfish and an ingrate, and she always makes constant threats to withhold things and the like. I personally don't think her perfectionism or her taking things personally will change, but I've been working on trying to get away from her. Story 3. Ever had a parent that treats you like a maid? As much as I appreciate my father working for our family, my mom works in the same field as him as a nurse. He always expects us to clean up for him. I remember he made my sister clean up his toenail clippings when he was capable of sweeping it himself. Before work, my sister and I always have to set up the table for him and heat his food. Literally just an hour ago, he refused to eat the food I heated because he was going to be late, but then proceeded to get on the PS5 for 20 minutes before leaving. Just fucking hate it. He'll ask for a glass of water when he's at the table. To make it even worse, it seems impossible to have an emotional connection with him. I feel anxious most of the time because of this. He always throws tantrums out of nowhere. I fucking hate it. Story 4. My mom wants to take my car away because she doesn't want me moving in with trans people. Let me provide some context. I, 19F, have been talking about moving in with two of my friends from the last job I worked at for quite a long time. At the time we made these plans, we were all working at the same place and it was going great, up until I got let go for many times of being away from my station too long, aka taking bathroom breaks because they wouldn't let us sit down and my back was killing me, and I couldn't take a breather within sight of the managers because I'd get yelled at. I never had an issue with that until they started firing people and many quit because of the work conditions, and so to make up for the sparse staffing, they would give me double the work, causing me to get burned out very quickly. So to fill the gap, I've been doing DoorDash just so I'm at least not a complete loser. Anyway, on to the meat and potatoes of the story. Sometime after telling my mom, 55F, what the possible plans were, I went and asked my friends if they were alright with me telling my mom the whole scope because they'd eventually meet face to face anyway if we'd be helping each other get our stuff in order. I would never tell another person who's never met my friends that they're trans unless they were okay with me doing so. They gave me permission, and so I broke the news to my mom. Now, mind you, my mother is very much Christian and conservative. I, however, am Christian, but not conservative. At first she seemed kinda indifferent about it, so I figured okay, this might not be that tough of a situation. Wrong. Since then, our relationship has become extremely rocky, and we've been getting into arguments off and on for a couple months now. The hostility and bigotry have all been thinly veiled under the guise of protecting me and caring about mine and my friends' salvation. Now, as much as it makes me sad to know what their view of God is based off the impression they've gotten from their own Christian upbringings because I wish I could help them see what God is really about, I'm very much against pushing my beliefs on those who don't express interest in sharing them. I wholeheartedly understand and sympathize with those who have experienced religious trauma growing up, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone, or want to make anyone relieve it for that matter. However, this willingness to love everyone no matter what walk of life they come from is seen as blatant enabling to my mom. No matter how many times I try to explain to her that LGBTQ and people aren't evil and they just want a live life without living in constant fear, I'm ace myself and she even has an issue with that, none of it gets through. I've tried the put yourself in their shoes approach. I've tried explaining that Jesus literally ate dinner in the presence of way worse people, I quoted, he who is without sin, cast the first stone. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So now, because I'm still choosing to go forward with my move and do everything I can to get back on my feet, I'm being threatened with having my car taken from me, which of course would prevent me from doing DoorDash and making money while I try to land a more solid job. Here's the thing. I pay for my car, every single month, on time. Not once have I asked my parents for help with my car payments. I'm doing my part to be responsible, pay my bills, get more money rolling in, yada yada yada. And if you missed it, I'm also legally an adult. I'm not an underage girl who's in way too quick of a hurry to grow up. I'm not being spontaneous, I quite literally planned this out months in advance, and on top of that, I've been talking about moving out in general since I was 16, but I knew I didn't have anything close to the required means at the time. My plan wasn't even to specifically pick people who were a part of the LGBTQ and community to move in with. That's just who my friends happen to be, and I honestly don't care. If it neither breaks my leg nor picks my pocket, I have exactly zero qualms. Now I'm caught in a crossroads between feeling like a complete screw-up/problem child and trying to push forward because I know I deserve for good things to happen to me. My mom keeps reeling me in and making me feel ridiculous, telling me I'm acting out of desperation and jumping at the closest opportunity I see just because I didn't have many friends growing up. So much screaming, crying, and claims of betrayal while I'm staying mostly stoic the whole time. Deep down inside, it hurts. It hurts to know that I could be hurting my own mother. I'm having a fight with myself and my mother at the same time, and I honestly do not know how much more I can take. Someone please tell me I'm not crazy. Anyone? Story 5. Karen let her kid run out in front of our car. My mum and I went to pick up my dad from work this evening, and on the way home, a mother and her children, all dressed in black coats, it was very dark, being winter in the UK, were standing by the road, not at a crossing, just by the road. It was my mum's right of way, so she kept driving, not expecting the Karen to step out in front of our car and then gesture for her kids to run across behind her. My mum had to slam on the brakes to avoid hitting them. My mum rolled down the window and politely but firmly said that they should be wearing brighter clothing, if they were going to cross like that, because she couldn't see them. The lady snapped, "Oh, shut up." My mum yelled that she should be more careful and drove away. The audacity of some people. Story 6. Parents brought screeching baby to FNAF. This happened a few hours ago and I am still pissed. I went to see FNAF last night since it was sold out on Friday and at every theater by me during the daytime. I found a theater by me that was showing FNAF well until 11 p.m. so I figured it would be dead. It wasn't really but still okay. 9:40 p.m. The time where tiny children should be asleep, right? No. Everyone is sitting down and when the movie starts the theater goes quiet, till the murmurs of a baby can be heard. A kid around 7 comes in, then a dad, then a screeching baby and a mom. They came in right as the movie started and were loud the entire time. Now this kid didn't cry at the jump scares, instead it kept making sounds for the entire run of the fucking movie. And I mean louder than movie sounds. The people around me were pissed and kept shushing the kid as it waddled and ran up and down the aisle they were in. The parents acted as if we were crazy and kept ignoring their whining, screaming baby as if it would just go away. People would leave, complain, and when movie people came in we saw hope that they would be asked to leave. Instead they just looked around for the earbleed demon and fucked off as if they couldn't locate the screeches. At that point the kid said ma goo goo gaga. It's like the kid is right fucking there. The mom took the kid out for like 5 minutes and then came back in loudly and said Mama really wants to see the movie, put the kid on the ground and let it continue to run around. The father ignored the kid, the older child seemed unbothered like I did not hear a peep from that kid the entire time. Crotch Goblin would go quiet for like 10 seconds, enough time for some hope, and then continue to run around, semi-sleep on the chairs, that annoying thing bored kids do, and just be a fucking menace to the theater. And you can feel the vibe in the theater. We aren't scared, we all are pissed, at least I know my row was since they were right ahead of us so the screeching wasn't even muffled, it was like eardrum destruction. Then, right as the movie ended and I mean the first credits came on, even before the pot lights turned back they were fucking gone. Now they leave? The fuck? And it just pisses me off so much cause fuck the parents and fuck the theater for allowing this bullshit. We all pay insane amounts of money just to see a movie. I've waited so fucking long for FNAF and just wanted one nice evening out. And these families come in, and the theater people see the babies and say nothing. Oh, you're gonna take your 1-year-old into The Conjuring too? Happened to me, yet I see nothing wrong with that. In my opinion, theaters should be for 7+ cause at 7 you should be old enough to just be quiet. I don't really hate the babies, even though I dislike kids, cause they are too young to understand what be quiet means or what sit still means, but come on. No one deserves to have their movie ruined by kids. To have kids cry all throughout the beginning of Endgame cause Thanos got his stupid head chopped off. Or for kids to screech cause the Emperor is scary boo fucking who he was on screen for 0.2 seconds and then it was over. Or for kids to ask why is Batman? A million fucking times. PG-13 or 14A should still mean something. It should mean if your kid ain't 13, they aren't getting fucking in. They don't get to get in and scream and cry throughout a movie. That's the point of most kids' movies, is that scary stuff is limited. And I had this happen when I was a kid and my grandparents took me to see Pirates of the Caribbean and Davy Jones scarred the fuck out of me. But you know what they did? They took me home. They didn't let me scream and cry during the whole movie and ruin everyone else's days. They understood I was too young and took me home. It's not that hard. And I get it, if you don't have a sitter that sucks, but why would you want to punish everyone else? Edit. For those saying I should ask for a refund, I should point out the theater isn't in the best shape and by the time I got out there was no employees around. It was 11:40 and I waited around for a bit but there was no one. I was pissed and left for my bus. When another movie I saw there had a technical issue, GOTG Volume 1, they gave us vouchers that were expired, and then the theater closed for a few years. I avoided the place for years but went back last year and saw the Batman. The roof was dripping water and I had no clue if it was part of the movie, or IRL. Found out when the pot lights came on. The theater staff aren't helpful and disappear, or as I said in the story, they don't do anything. People complained, they came in to look for the kid, it's a small theater room, it wasn't that hard, and after 20 secs of barley looking they left. Never going there again. For anyone interested, it was a Cineplex and they suck. It's a shitty theater but I've never encountered entitled people there since the town it's in is kinda sketchy. I figured the worst I'd encounter is my seat breaking, again LMAO, or the projector breaking, again LOL. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.